Paciello, prominently known as the King of Sobe, bringing us nightclubs from the 90s as Liquid and Today's Story. What brings you here tonight, Function?
Come in and support some friends. Function, the owner of Function's a good friend of mine. They do a great job, so they asked me to come out, and I'm happy to oblige.
Hey, what's up, guys? I wanted to take a second to remind you, please hit that subscribe button, and if you like what we're doing and want to support the channel, you can do that via Cash App at American Made Channel. Now, let's jump into the video.
Chris Paciello had become the king of South Beach. He and his friends would ride their bikes to nearby Bath Avenue, a Bonanno crime family stronghold, under the control of alleged capo Anthony Spiro.
Kids growing up in Brooklyn looked up to the gangsters.
When he was arrested for auto theft at 16, Paciello proved he was more than an errand boy. He pled guilty to a lesser charge and got off. The wise guys took notice.
They called him the binger because he loved to binge on crime. You know, if his friends stole one car, he stole three. If they busted into one video store, he hit two.
And with some new Staten Island friends and his old Bath Avenue associates, the binger turned to crime with a vengeance.
His house across the street is 95 Mead Loop, the former residence of the Shemtov family.
Shemtov owned a lot of businesses, and apparently he didn't believe in banks. He kept a lot of cash in a safe, really built into the basement of this posh Staten Island home. And Chris had gotten wind of this, and his mind started racing. It was a freezing cold night in 1993. They drive in this Mercury sedan to the home of Judy Shemtov and her husband, Sammy.
What happens is Tommy Reynolds and Jimmy Calandra walk up to the door, ring the bell, and when Judy Shemtov opened the door, thinking that it was someone who was calling for her daughter, Reynolds, by accident apparently, without meaning to kill her, apparently, fired the gun and shot her dead.
And then they run to a car, a waiting car, which is across the street or in front of the house. And the car speeds off toward Mead Street.
Behind the wheel is Chris Paciello. And he's like, he didn't know what happened in there. You know, it was supposed to be a simple robbery. Go in, tie up the husband, get the number to the safe, and get out. Easy, simple. Another simple robbery, but everything went wrong.
And that basically was the turning point which convinced Paciello that he was not going to hang around with these guys.
Welcome to Miami. So Paciello shows up to South Beach, you know, in the early 90s.
1999, just 5 years after he had arrived from Brooklyn, Chris Paciello had become the king of South Beach.
The lieutenant in the Strategic Investigations Unit came up with an idea to contact the FBI and ask them who their highest profile organized crime figure would be on the beach. And we would initiate an undercover investigation into this person. And they came up with Chris's name.
The Miami Beach police will divulge little about their investigation, but they will say that an undercover policeman wearing a wire spent a lot of time with Paciello, posing as a dirty cop. And there was mounting evidence that Paciello still had ties to organized crime.
At one point, Chris took this cop in his 50-foot yacht up the Intercoastal to a waterside restaurant. And they met Alphonse Persico, the alleged head of the Colombo crime family.
New York had received information from a crack suspect who had mob ties.
And he has information about a homicide that takes place in 93 involving a woman getting shot in the face. Judy Shemtov.
partner, Christian Ludwigson, better known as Chris Paciello, could be released on bond after his lawyer enters a plea of not guilty. The ruling comes less than 2 weeks after a federal grand jury indicted the 28-year-old on multiple charges: racketeering, conspiracy, felony murder, and robbery. U.S. attorneys saying Ludwigson took part in a 1993 botched home invasion that ended in the murder of a Staten Island housewife, and in a 1992 bank robbery, both crimes believed to be tied to organized crime.
Inside the courtroom, there were two deciding factors as to whether Ludwigson could be released on bond. The prosecution argued he was a flight risk and that he was a danger to society, while the defense argued otherwise, saying he's neither.
And on the eve of the trial, 2 days before jury selection, Chris Paciello makes a surprise guilty plea. He marches into the court on Friday the 13th, 2000, and he pleads guilty to every crime. Yeah, I was a getaway driver. In the Judy Shemtov homicide, yeah, I broke into the bank. Yeah, that was me. Probably 2 days before he was about to go back to jail, Chris vanishes, disappears. He doesn't show up to start a sentence. No one can find him. He doesn't return calls. He doesn't return beeps. Where is he? Well, he's a rat.
He doesn't want to go to jail. And he feels, gee, what did I really do wrong? I broke into a couple of houses. I stole a few things, but I didn't kill anybody. It was that guy Reynolds that did that.
He's decided to use the information that he has on the mob and his old pals to get himself a lighter sentence.
Chris Paciello's life as a rat is a far cry from his high society days in Miami. Instead of VIP rooms, Paciello is ushered in and out of courtrooms where he must earn his freedom, testifying against the likes of Anthony Spiro, the alleged Bath Avenue mob boss, and Alphonse Persico of the Colombo crime family. And, if he's lucky, he may find himself living anonymously in a quiet suburb somewhere in America, forever looking over his shoulder.
What do you have up your sleeve for the next year?
Very excited. I've been working on a project over a year now. We're launching next Thursday, November 13th. It's called Anatomy at 1220 in the Sunset Harbor area. It's a really high-end fitness center with a whole medical component, a full spa. It's a really high-end gym. Beautiful. I'm very proud of it.
You know, so it was not exciting. I wasn't looking to drink and party and, bring home girls and all that shit. I was over it.
Yeah.
It's changed my life, It's changed my life for the better, for sure. I'm so happy I found it, and my brother talked me into going to it.
Really?
Because my brother Keith has done it several times.
Wow.
But he grew up a little different than me.
Yeah.
He grew up, he liked weed, he smoked weed, he ride skateboard. I was out there robbing banks and being an animal and hanging out with a bunch of gangsters. And I grew up, in an environment that was obviously all I knew. And, when I moved to Florida, little by little, I would try to change that. But I was always, no matter how much money I made, no matter how much success I had, no matter how, notoriety, no matter who I dated, there was something missing. I was unhappy, and there was a lot of time I would, explode and punch people and do all these stupid things that, that I didn't know how to release that pressure or whatever I was feeling. I had PTSD from all my childhood growing up. No matter what you think, it takes a toll on you,
Absolutely.
And, creating these alter egos to protect yourself as a little kid and to, creating this alter identity to really save you. It's like a survival technique. Shy, young, scared boy who created this survival, tough, whatever everybody, knew me for, this club, tough guy, whatever, to going back to that guy. And you know what? I've been able to walk away from things, that I would never have been able to walk away from now. Someone disrespecting me, making, saying something stupid, cutting me off in a car. I would chase them down. And if I didn't, I would feel like a pussy, like for a year, a month. Like, I should have punched that guy. It would, it hurt me, For my 50th birthday in September, everybody wanted to throw me a big party in Vegas. And I said, you know what? I don't want to do this. I don't wake up with a hangover, a headache, feel like shit. So I went with my girl, went to Italy, took a motorcycle trip for 25 days around Italy and enjoyed it,